Hey, what's happening everyone? Journeyman here and welcome to today's Football Manager 2017 experiment. This is going to be starring the fictitious football legend that is To Madeira. Now, if you don't know the background for To Madeira, he was a fake player that ended up being put in the game in the Championship Manager season 2001-2002 game. Now, it was a fake player created by a scout, managed to force his way in, and this guy was a god. He was a goal-scoring god. It was the best striker in the game. Perhaps alongside Cherno Samba, debates could be had who was the better player, but To Madeira could score goals for fun. No matter when he touched the ball, you can pretty much guarantee he's going to get a goal. I mean, I'm actually using him right now in my Championship Manager 01-02 save in Manchester City, and he's already knocked up 22 goals in 23 appearances. Sorry for that shameless cross-promotion, but I am using him, and he is an absolute stud. So what I'm doing for this experiment is I've loaded up To Madeira into Football Manager 2017, now using the same attributes as he has on the editor. The same reputation, the same current ability, and the potential ability is the only thing that's differed a little bit. Now, obviously, the potential ability in the Championship Manager editor has him down as a -2. Now, negatives and potential ability, if you don't know how that works, is essentially they get given a random potential ability when you load up a game. So in the modern ones, they range from -1 to -10, -10 being the best, -1 being pretty bad. But anyway, it's just random potential. But you can't do that in the Football Manager 2017 editor. So I had to assign him a potential ability based off my experience with him, and I put it at around 185. Now, that puts him like a kind of a step just below Ronaldo and Messi, just to give you guys some kind of representation, where he is, kind of representation of kind of where he is in the footballing world. So I put in the stats, and previously they were much, much better than this. I mean, he had 20 for finishing, 20 for technique, but of course, when you put it to current ability, everything drops. So as you can see, it's a much more realistic looking To Madeira, one that really reflects when you find him in the Championship Manager 01-02 game. Now, put him obviously as well, age 22, put him on his birthday, which ironically is the same birthday as me. And then obviously put him as Portuguese. I added him to the Govia team who play in the Portuguese Championship division. So yeah, I've basically tried to simulate it as best I possibly can. Obviously, there are some attributes areas that are different in Football Manager 2017 as there was back in Championship Manager 01-02. So I had to be a little more creative about it, because some of the editors said, "Oh, he's got a 0 ability." I'm not quite sure what that meant, but what I did is I just try to make it as kind of realistic as possible based off experience with him. So anyway, the way this experiment is going to work is we're going to follow To Madeira all the way through his career, and we're going to do this in kind of parts. So the first episode today we're going to do after 1 season, after 3 seasons, and then after 5 seasons of To Madeira. And then part 2, we may just do to the end of his career and then really examine what kind of player he turned into. Obviously, this guy was an absolute goal-scoring legend. He's my favorite Football Manager / Championship Manager player of all time. So it's going to be very exciting. Could be a lot of fun. I'll be interested to see how well he does, who he signs for, and see if he can replicate his goal-scoring form that he had in, obviously, CM 01-02. But anyway, let's go ahead and skip to the end of the first season, and let's see where he moved and how many goals he scored. Okay, so we are 1 season on now for To Madeira, and he is still at Govia. Now, Govia themselves, they finished 8th in the relegation playoffs by look of things. So it didn't have a really good season. Let's go and take a look, see if I can see how well they did. Relegation stage, all groups. All right, see if I find Govia. Govia. Where would they be? It did tell me. Let me see, finished 8th. So they may have actually got relegated. If 8th is correct. Yeah, looks like they got relegated. Yeah, so they went down, believe it or not, even though To Madeira as their main striker. All right, so take a look, see how To did. He got himself 9 goals in the Portuguese Championship, average rating of 6.80, so not really a great return. 1 goal in the Portugal Cup, as you can see, Taca de Portugal. Take a look at him as a player himself. Now, he made some minor improvements. He's also wanted by, who is this? Nacional de Madeira. Okay, so they play in the Portuguese 2nd division, so he's wanted by them. His contract is up, so it's likely that he will be moving on. Take a look at his happiness level. You can see that is the one negative right now is that he wants to move to a bigger club, and he's actively looking for a new club. All right, so Interesting. Good, interesting stuff there. So he only got 9 goals in his first season. I'm very surprised that a team in Portugal didn't pick him up, especially considering how cheap he is, to be honest with you, and especially he's gone on a free transfer. So what we're going to do now is, because he hasn't moved on, I think I'm just going to simulate to the end of... Let's simulate to the end of the 3rd season for To Madeira, and let's see where he moves on to. Let's see if he grows as a player. Because right now he is making obviously steady improvements and his potential ability is really high, but it's going to be a little bit determined on the type of club that picks him up that's going to help him fulfill his talent. So, you know what? Let's go and skip forward 2 more seasons, and let's catch you at the end of season 3. Okay, so here we are finally at the end of season 3, and as you can see, To Madeira now plays for Nacional de Madeira. So that's a pretty appropriate name to play for, obviously, To. Let's take a look at his last couple of seasons. So, obviously, after the first season with Govia, he wanted to move out, and he finally got a move. Free transfer to Gondomar, who apparently play in the Portuguese 2nd League. And things didn't go very well for him. He only scored 3 goals in 34 appearances, did not make a single start for the team. So things didn't really improve for him. But over the summer, he was released, and he was picked up by Nacional de Madeira for the Premier League of Portugal, and he scored 15 goals in 33 starts. So it looks like he's their main striker. Let's take a look at their teams. Actually, a key player, believe it or not. Let's see who's with anyone well known, everyone recognised. They actually finished 12th, so that's pretty respectable for them, to be honest with you. Take a look at the season preview. Where were they due to finish? 14th. Okay, so they pretty much ended up where the media predicted they would be. So he helped them out a little bit with that. Let's go back and take a look at To again. All right, so attribute-wise, he's got a little bit better. He's 25 years out, so he's got a couple years till he reaches his peak, and I'm not quite sure he's going to be able to do that. So let's take a look at his personnel. Actually, no, wrong one. Let's look at his attribute detail, shall we, and take a look. His current ability is a 127, and his potential ability is 190. To 185. Never mind. Reputation has gone up. Current ability has gone up a little bit as well. And also just, just his attributes went up a lot, to be honest with you. Couple of things, like obviously long throws marking, they used to be 2. Corners used to be 1, I think. Crossing used to be 1. So he's got a bit better across the board. So things are looking a little bit up for him, but not exactly what I was expecting so far. Expecting him to be scoring a lot of goals and playing for a much bigger team than Nacional de Madeira. Which, he's playing in the Premier League now, at least, because previously he was playing for a 2nd division team, and he wasn't getting a game, so he's getting better. We'll have to see what happens next, though. His contract doesn't run out till 2020. Be interested to see if another big club comes in for him, because he is a pretty talented player at this level. Knocked up 12 goals in 28 appearances for his first season in the Premier League, so he might get some interest from some bigger clubs. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So what we're going to do now is we are going to skip now to the 5th season for To Madeira and do one last look for this episode. Okay, so here we are at the end of season 5 now for To Madeira. Now, you may notice he is at another different club. He moved to another club, and he's valued a lot more than he used to be, too, at 3.3 million. You may notice that I'm wearing a different shirt. I actually had to go to bed. I slept overnight while this ran in the background because it was taking far too fucking long. Anyway, let's go to his career stats. He moved from Nacional de Madeira after his first season in the Premier League, and he moved to Braga for £375,000. In that first season, he notched up 13 goals in about 27 starts. In the second season, most recent season, he scored 17 goals. So he's getting a bit better for Braga in the Premier League. How did Braga do out of interest? Let me see. Actually, the season's not quite over yet, believe it or not. But they are currently 5th in the table, and that is where they'll stay. So, To Madeira will in fact be in Europe next season. All right. So, also, I think he's wanted by someone too. I believe. There he is. All right. Yeah, he actually wanted by someone. He wanted by Brentford. Okay, how Brentford doing? Then the Premier League. All right, so he's wanted by a Premier League team. That's pretty interesting stuff. Take a look at the Premier League. Brentford are currently 13th, and it looks like they're not going to get relegated, so good for them. So yeah, that could be interesting. So what I'm going to do now is, in the next episode of this, we're going to follow To Madeira, continue to follow his career. He is 27 years old now, so he was approaching close to his peak. Let's take a look at his current ability, shall we? 135, so he's getting a lot better. Last time he was about mid-20s, 120 something, and he could peak out around 150, 160, depending on if he gets that move to the Premier League. And if he does, it'll be interesting to see how many games he gets. But alright, so the next episode, we'll follow his career, we'll continue following him, and see how well he does for the rest of his career. But thank you guys so much on this first experiment video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember to hit the subscribe button for more videos I've done, and I'll see you all in the next part. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.